You know, with all the rumors going around lately that Celine Dion might be in the market to buy the Montreal Canadiens down the road, we're also seeing news in recent days that Edgar Bronfman, part of the Bronfman Media Company or the Bronfman billionaire Canadian, is looking to buy Paramount. But neither Edgar Bronfman or Celine Dion, well, she was too young at the time, was involved in this machinations because if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you probably heard this before, but if you're a recent Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you're going to say Anne Murray was going to buy the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're probably saying, who's Anne Murray, if you're under the age of 25. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, truth is stranger than fiction. Pop country Canadian superstar Anne Murray, who was loaded with cash in the early 80s, tried to buy the Toronto Maple Leafs from that misogynist crackpot Harold Ballard in a $40 million, what they call group bid. Now, the music superstar, devoted hockey fan, and she's very good at different sports, confirmed involvement in the $40 million bid for the Leafs in 1985. Now, according to CBC article, you know how these things go. A musician wants to buy a sports team, and that sends the news industry in overdrive. Like when Ryan Reynolds showed interest in being part owner of the Ottawa Senators, or when John Bon Jovi wanted to buy the Buffalo Bills, or when Jay-Z invested in the Brooklyn Nets and later sold his interest in the team so he could become a player agent, or the time Anne Murray tried to buy the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is from a CBC article. According to a interview many years ago, she calls herself the most avid hockey fan ever. So much so in the last moments of the old Maple Leaf Garden, she helped close the rink by singing the Maple Leaf Forever in a Leafs jersey. Yes, the Springville, Nova Scotia-born songstress, best known for her big hit Snowbird, sought to buy the Leafs from Harold Ballard as part of a group of investors during the 1980s. Anyone who's ever read anything or knows anything about me knows I'm the most avid hockey fan ever. CBC got the singer to confess in an interview in February '85. I mean, I'm an avid sports fan, but hockey in particular has been my love for a long time. At that point, the Murray-involved push for the Leafs had recently reported on in the media, and the Snowbird singer confirmed the figure surrounding the bid. At the time, her and the group offered $40 million for the FLLs, or the frequently losing Leafs. Now, of course, now it was only offering $40 million. Harold Ballard wants $100 million, she said, referring to the controversial Maple Leafs owner. At the time, the team was worth an estimated $50 million, but with the property of Maple Leaf Gardens and all the different holdings, including the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who would be part of the deal because Ballard owned it, meant it was worth really $100 million. It was not a great time to be a Leafs fan at that point, as the team only won 20 games during the season that Murray was talking about her interest in the team. Some fans were even wearing custom-printed paper masks to games, a la the Unknown Comic, signaling their embarrassment with the failing franchise. The Toronto Star had reported that the offers first been made in '83, and that Murray's group sought to buy the team, Maple Leaf Gardens, as well as the Ticats. The paper also said the proposed offer had not been discussed by the board of MLG, suggesting it did not progress very far. Yet the story of Murray's Leafs bid made news when it was publicly disclosed, and came out again on CBC's business show Venture a couple of years later. Host Patrick Watson gave viewers a brief overview of how the Ballard years had been for Leafs fans when the Venture episode went to air in January '87. Not once have they won the Stanley Cup since he took the reins. This is from 1967 to '87, the 20th anniversary. Now we're in a year 58, and yet seeming to defy many of the basic rules of good business, he's racked up the company's fattest profits ever, Watson said. Now, they had enjoyable conversations according to different sources, but it was no deal. Venture interviewed Lyman McInnes, a financial advisor who met with Ballard on the singer's behalf. Again, we had a couple of very enjoyable breakfasts, and he had some very enjoyable conversations about Anne Murray, and to this day, I'm not sure that Mr. Ballard realized I was trying to buy the company from him, McGinnis told Venture. The $40 million offer that the Murray Group made may have been low, even considering the Leafs' long struggles on the ice. Venture said at the time, Fortune magazine put the value of the squad at $50 million, and Watson said real estate experts believe MLG could fetch $60 million if put up for sale. Now, here's the weird deal, ladies and gentlemen. At the time, most franchises in major sport would rarely get past 50 million. Now they're worth billions of dollars. I think the Dallas Cowboys in a $10 billion range or whatever with properties and holdings. But you see, the Maple Leafs had been a Stanley Cup contender in 1978 and 79. They fell by the wayside, losing in the first round, or not even make the playoffs by the early to mid 1980s. Anne Murray was a known factor, but Harold Ballard hated women. There was no way in the world they were going to sell the Maple Leafs to Anne Murray. However, if Paul Anka, who tried to buy the Ottawa Senators, and Anne Murray got together in the bid, it would have pretty well come forward. Now, Paul Anka, not say he was blocked from the Senators' proposal, but it just seems to me that Anne Murray would have been a great fit because the free publicity, you could do Anne Murray albums or concerts. You know, if you owned the venue, you'd have played it. And don't forget, Anne Murray got her first big break at some marquee shows in Toronto when she was getting away from the kind of sing-along jubilee style that she was best known for. So let's look since 1983 to the current day what the Maple Leafs have done. It's been 41 years of total and utter bullshit. They've only won one playoff series, I think in 23 years? And Anne Murray's still with us. Now, will the Toronto Maple Leafs ever be sold? No, because it's more of a corporation now than anything else. And don't forget, previous to the Anne Murray bid, John Bassett, who was a good friend of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump got the idea to get in the USFL by Bassett with the Tampa Bay Bandits. John Bassett had probably the best acumen to make Toronto Maple Leafs. Can you imagine what the Toronto Maple Leafs would have been like if John Bassett or Anne Murray or even Paul Anka and Anne Murray would have got it together? They would have probably won a few Stanley Cups because the purse strings would be open, but people would want to play for a franchise. And by the way, to my knowledge, there hasn't been too many female owners in NHL history. There might be like a combination owner or a part of a package, but it doesn't really happen. Now, if Celine Dion ever tries to buy the Montreal Canadiens, because she showed up in the Montreal draft, because, you know, she might be near retirement because of her chronic disease, this Anne Murray proposal is going to come back up. Now, people from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, the Maritimes, were big hockey fans. That's true. She was a phys ed, student or kinesiology, whatever you want to call it. Very, very good athlete in her own stead. You know, always kept herself in good shape. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs would have benefited greatly because the Maple Leafs needed some good luck at that time, but until Doug Gilmour got there in unforeseen circumstances, the Maple Leafs were close. Not say they were going to fold, but they were going to be a third-ranked team. So that's the story about how Anne Murray could have been the owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you like what you're doing here, we're a Vintage Hockey Podcast. Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.